typically do.
Okay.
Good call.
All right. Okay, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome to our work session, everybody. This is one of the more fun things we get to do, so let's go ahead and get it kicked off. Mike?
Commissioners, Mike Augustine with Human Resources. It's my pleasure today to welcome everybody to our anniversary and recognition ceremony for the fourth quarter of 2024. So we will be recognizing those individuals with service to the county in increments of 5 years, so 5, 10, 15, etc., as well as any retirees that have retired from Shawnee County during that same quarter period of October, November, December. So the way that it'll work is for the 5 and 10 year groups, we have 7 and 6 or 8 and 6 individuals for the 5 and 10 year group. So if you're a 5 year, once I call your name, if you can come up front, you'll get your certificate from Angela Lewis. And then we'd ask that you just stand off to the side, and then we will have a group picture following that. Once we get to the 15-year awards, we'll be doing individual pictures, so please stand with the commissioners, get your award, and stay for a picture. Correct? All right. So first, we'd like to start with 5-year anniversary. So as I call your name, if you can come up front, commissioners, if I could have you come up front. Okay. So these are 5-year anniversaries. So Commissioner Mays, 5 years with the Board of County Commissioners. From Corrections, Jackson Perez Coliker, not here. Jason Applehans from Corrections. Scott Spoonmore has 5 years with Corrections. And Marissa Stanley, 5 years with Corrections as well. From the Sheriff's Office, Virgil Collins has 5 years with the Sheriff's Office. Timothy Arterberry has 5 years with Solid Waste Department. And last, Lori Hoover has 5 years with the Treasurer's Office Motor Vehicle Department. Those are our 5-year recognees.
You and me, man.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 10 years of service with Shawnee County. So again, same drill, come forward when your name's called if you're here in front. Bradley Dean with Information Technology. Come on down. Michael Wyatt with Parks and Rec. Scott Peterson with the Sheriff's Office. Melissa Burkhart with the Treasurer's Office Motor Vehicle. Megan Jones with the Treasurer's Office Motor Vehicle. And Ashley Gonzalez with the Treasurer's Office Motor Vehicle. So again, these are our 10-year anniversary recognitions. Next, we'd like to recognize all the employees that have had 15 years with Shawnee County, starting in 2009. We have one to recognize this morning with Jess Rakestraw from Parks and Rec. Come on. All right. And from this point, we have employees that have worked 20 years, 25 years, 30, 35 years with Shawnee County. And so I'd like to turn it over to Brian Cole, who would recognize a couple of his folks.
Good morning, Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is a fun day for me because us Bears fans, we're thick as thieves, and who I'm going to talk to today are two other true Bears fans, and not that we have very much to cheer for. But I'm going to start with Ed Fulmer. Ed, come on up. Ed has been with us for 25 years. Ed has served corrections specialists both in the modules, operations, programs, special needs inmates, and reentry. And you talk about a guy who has a passion for it, and that's Ed. Ed is very smart. He goes above and beyond for the inmates that are getting out. Programs, worked a great deal in our work release program, and has been just a huge part of one of our top goals of reintegrating those who come into our remand. And Ed, you do an outstanding job. I give you more kudos because you're a Bears fan. We talk often about who we should draft and who we shouldn't draft. I don't think we're ever going to get there. So we've been rebuilding since 1986. So anyway, Ed,
Long-term goal.
Long-term goal. But Ed, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to serve you as the director. I appreciate all you do, and we're very fortunate to have you. Thank you. Stephanie?
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up. Stephanie's like a younger sister to me. She takes care of me, but you talk about a person that works in one of the most difficult areas, and everybody asks me what's the toughest population to work with in the Department of Corrections, and I always say there are two, and it is female population is tough, but juveniles is probably the toughest. You're dealing with a lot of needs, you're dealing with a lot of broken homes, you're dealing with a lot of addiction and behavioral health. And all of Stephanie's career has been with the Department of Corrections and the Juvenile Detention Center. That is a tough road to hoe. She has done very well. She has been part of our leadership team as a CS and has worked her way up. She's a division manager. She sits on wellness committees. She works in our care committee. She has done so much, but the one thing that she is unwavered about is her commitment towards the juvenile population. She meets with them daily. She deals with a lot of difficult youth. She goes in, she's not afraid to go in and talk to the youth who are having problems, behavioral health, suicide, just maybe having a tough time dealing with incarceration. Stephanie knows how to manage me. She keeps me informed of everything. I don't have to worry about surprises. Stephanie knows I love her deeply. And we will get to a Bears game. Now, I promise you, if they win, they won't see us running across the field. Well, no guarantees yet. But Stephanie, you mean a great deal to me. Ed, you mean a great deal to me. All of our staff mean a great deal to me. But Stephanie, you're very important to our operation, our leadership. And again, we're lucky to have you, so thank you.
Brian,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't do it with Ed.
Yeah, you know. Come on.
We'll do Ed again. Got that, Brian.
Yeah.
So our next service award actually goes to Brian Cole for 35 years of service. I've asked Commissioner Cook to say some words.
So those of you that know Brian knows that he's a very passionate person. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He advocates fiercely for his department throughout the whole year, not just during the budget. But this advocacy doesn't just come from him. It's something that he's been born with and his family. Brian came from the lesser town in Miami County of Osawatomie. Always inferior to Paola, which is just a little bit better. But Brian's family worked at the Osawatomie State Hospital. His father was the director of the facility. Brian grew up with what incarceration and restoration and mental health needs, and Brian has brought that forth in his career with mental health here at the Shawnee County Jail. Brian actually started out in the Shawnee County Jail, worked his way all the way from the ground floor straight through to the director. So, I mean, he really is the person who came in at the bottom and worked his way all the way to the top. And I know that, he did start at the Shawnee County Department of Corrections when he was 15. But we're happy to have him here, and we're very pleased to honor him for 35 years of service for Shawnee County. So thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Side, Shawnee County Solid Waste. This morning, we'd like to recognize Howard Cummings, affectionately known as Howie Cummings, for his 25 years of service to the Solid Waste Department. Due to prior commitments, he will not be able to attend today. We'll be sure to get everything to him. But Howie's one of those guys that everybody enjoys being around. He's always has a good attitude, always motivated, and he's very personable. And everybody that ever comes in contact with Howie remembers that. So again, we'd just like to recognize Howie and thank him for his service for 25 years.
All right, next on the agenda, if I could get Sheriff Hill to talk about his 3 employees.
I guess it's still morning. Good morning, Sheriff Hill, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Have 3 excellent employees here as I look around the room. We're having scheduling conflicts. They're getting sworn in as well today, so they're all here working diligently. But the first individual is Sergeant Aaron Rivera. And Sergeant Rivera started his career with Shawnee County Sheriff's Office in 2004. He served in the Patrol Civil Process Fugitive Warrants. He's worked in courthouse security, investigations. He was promoted to the rank of corporal to the Fugitive Warrants Unit in 2015. He made detective in 2018. Since then, Sergeant Rivera has acted as a defensive tactics instructor for us. He's previously served as a member of our SWAT team, the Honor Guard, and he was one of our tactical medical instructors and CPR instructor for the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Rivera has a Master's of Business Administration, and he's currently working on a clinical psychology program at Fort Hays State, where he hopes to graduate in 2027. And he's been an excellent employee for the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office, and I'd just like to give him a round of applause. And our next employee is Sergeant Christopher Keys. Sergeant Keys started for the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office in 1994. He was promoted to the rank of corporal in 98. To the rank of sergeant in 99. He has worked in supervised patrol, the crime scene unit, our civil process unit, and our fugitive warrants unit. He's also done a lot of our evidence tracking and our property room management, which is a big job for the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. He's also performed for the SWAT team, where he's been the defensive tactics instructor for 12 years. So thank him for his service. And finally, Sergeant Mummy, who started his career with the Sheriff's Office in 1994. He served in the Patrol Investigations Divisions of the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. His current assignment is Sergeant of Courthouse Security. Sergeant Mummy has had an outstanding career. He's had occasions to do the presidential escorts when they've come to Topeka and oversaw those operations. He is an LEDT driving instructor, radar instructor, and does training for traffic management. And he's also been one of our field training accident reconstruction instructors for several years. So thank him for his service.
All right. Next on the list is an individual from Parks and Rec who has 25 years of service, and Jess Rakestraw is coming to the podium to introduce this employee.
Well, good morning. Tom Hammer, we are celebrating today for 25 years. Tom, you can go ahead and come on up. You know, I'll tell you the first thing I think about when I hear Tom's name is just kind of a wealth of knowledge that he brings to our department. He's one of the few guys that has the historic knowledge of our park system, and is happy to share that, probably second only to Commissioner Rippon here. But he was hired in 1999 by the city of Topeka, and I know he worked his way up the ladder there. When our Parks and Rec departments merged in 2012, he came on as a park supervisor. I think oversaw 400 acres of natural areas, you know, was essentially our forestry guy among many other hats that he wore while he was here. Was recently named our District 1 Park Manager, where he now gets the opportunity to oversee the west half of Shawnee County and all the parks that lie within that, which is quite a few. That includes Gage Park, Family Park, Skyline Park, you know, parks that people have a lot of passion about and a lot of opinions about. And, you know, they'll call in with a concern or something, and we'll call Tom and, hey, Tom, can you look into this? And every time we'll get it taken care of. And he does, every single time. So Tom's the kind of guy you want on your team. You know, the other example I have of Tom, we went to a workshop that Tom asked us to go to on the tree canopy in Kansas, kind of maintaining and expanding it, and which I'm way in over my head, I will be the first to admit. And we went there, and several times throughout that workshop, Tom was mentioned for the work that he's doing and the passion he has for what he does. So there's no better time to feel the pride in your job when you have a team member getting recognized for the work they're doing, and then in turn making our department stand out. So Tom, thank you for 25 years. Hope we get another 15. Appreciate appreciate all you do for us.
Kurt?
Good morning, everyone. Gary Ships celebrating 20 years of service. He's not here. He started in November of 2004. Approximately a year after he started, he became and still is Public Works field mechanic. Now you might say, big deal, field mechanic. The guy was out there in that storm a week ago making sure our equipment ran. So he works under extraordinary circumstances, extraordinary weather conditions. He loves what he does, and he isn't afraid to get out there. So he loves being a field mechanic, partly because his father and his grandfather were field mechanics for Martin Tractor. I don't know if you know who Martin Tractor was. They were a heavy equipment supplier here in Topeka. They're now called Foley's. Gary says that in order to be a good mechanic, an individual has to be part farmer. Hey, I can see that. One part mechanic and one part cobbler. I'm not sure where the cobbler part came in. A good field mechanic uses any means necessary to get equipment running, not only to finish the job at hand, but maybe just in a temporary fashion to get the equipment back to the shop. And this is all without shop equipment. He's there, he's got to troubleshoot, he's got to figure out a solution, and he's got to get it done. And Gary wanted me to make sure the commissioners knew that Shawnee County buys much better equipment than they used to. Thank you. Gary likes the people he works with, both in the shop and in the field, and he will likely continue working after he gets his 85 points. That kind of shows you what kind of a guy he is. Let's thank Gary for 20 years of service, a positive attitude, his skills, and his dedication to his craft. Thank you.
So that is all of the service awards that we wanted to recognize. So a big round of applause for everybody again for their years of service with Shawnee County. At this time, I'd like to transition from the service and anniversary recognition into the retirement recognition. So we have several individuals who have retired in this last 3 months of 2024. Various department heads and elected officials will come forward, talk a little bit about those, starting with Commissioner Cook.
Larry, you want to come forward? This is not the final recognition of the retirement of Treasurer Larry Ma. Larry announced last week that his last official day will be January the 31st here for Shawnee County. It's 12 years of service to Shawnee County, and just a little bit over, I guess, 12 years. But this isn't the first retirement for Treasurer Ma, nor is it his second retirement. I think this may actually be the third or fourth retirement. Larry started his career with Southwestern Bell. After an illustrious career there, Larry went on to retire, and then he got bored, so he took up a job driving a bus. So Larry drove the school bus for Shawnee Heights, and not to be complacent with that, he entered the World Series of bus driving, where he placed, and he was recognized for his bus driving skills. After that retirement, Larry went on to the Appalachia Trail, which he was able to complete. That's no small feat, and it's a very major undertaking. And then after that, he decided to become the Shawnee County Treasurer. So he went from the telephone company to the bus company to a trail adventurer to the Shawnee County Treasurer. Took all of those skills to become our Shawnee County Treasurer for the last 12 years, and I think he's used all of those skills in his service. And so I think we all want to thank Larry for his service as the Treasurer, recognize the work he's done, and give him a warm welcome. We're also recognizing Miss Beck. We recognized her last Thursday at the County Commission meeting. Miss Beck is not with us today. As soon as she got done with the swearing in, she said, "I'm out of here." But we do want to thank Miss Beck for all of her service to Shawnee County as the Shawnee County clerk. Without her, the county would not work as evenly or smoothly as it does. And so I do want to take a moment to thank Miss Beck for all of her service to Shawnee County. We have someone from the county clerk's office who also retired this year. So, Lucille, if you'd like to come down. So Lucy Tyndall retired from the county clerk's office after 25 years with Shawnee County. She actually started
October 30th of 2020. Or, I'm sorry, October 30th of 2000. 2000. I'm grasping October 30th because it's an important day in my life as well. So. She continued working in the clerk's office until 2005 when she was promoted to an office assistant 2, but not in the clerk's office. She moved over to Public Works, where she worked in the surveyor's office, and that's where I got the chance to meet Lucy because the HR office used to be right next to the surveyor's office. So. And then Lucy decided that she wanted to move back to the county clerk's office. So in December of 2021, she moved back upstairs and then was promoted to an office assistant 3 in May of 2022. So, and that's where she continued to serve in that role until her retirement on December 31st of 2024. So 25 years of service to the people of Shawnee County. Thank you. Thank you, Lucy. Mr. Ma, I believe you have a retiree in your office, aside from yourself.
Good morning, Tammy. Do you want to come forward? You can bring your guest along. You want to introduce your special guest?
This is Aniston. She's my oldest granddaughter. She's going to be 3 in February. Aren't you? You going to say hi to everybody?
As you can see, Tammy's starting her second career. And full disclosure, as soon as yes, there you go. As soon as I became treasurer, Tammy and I started comparing notes, and I realized that I had actually gone to school with Tammy's mother. So there's something wrong with this picture. Tammy retired with 35 years of service, which is pretty remarkable. Very few people make that. And not only that, but she managed to do every job that we had available in the treasurer's office and the motor vehicle office. In fact, in the last 20 years, served as the deputy treasurer. And when I arrived, I thought that treasurer's office and Tammy Teft was one word, actually. Now, I'll speak to the department heads that are here. If you've ever taken over a department that you have not been a member to, you're hoping that there's somebody in that office that knows what's going on, that knows the history, and knows the process and procedures, and knows the strengths and the weaknesses of that office. And somebody who knows not only the history, but where all the bodies are buried. I was fortunate when I took over 12 years ago that Tammy was that person for me. And over the last 12 years, she's acted as my guidepost. She's been my trusted sounding board for changes that we've made, and I think we've made a few changes. And Tammy, I appreciate that. I want to thank you personally, and I want to thank you on behalf of the taxpayers of Shawnee County. And congratulations.
As we continue to honor our retirees, I'd like to invite Teresa Fisher to the podium.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to be able to honor our most recent retiree, Clara Norris. So Clara, you can come on up. Clara spent 23 years as an account clerk with the Shawnee County Health Department. Clara started back in October of 2001 through December 27th of 2024. She spent her entire time providing exemplary services through both our environmental health and our child care licensing programs at the health department. Clara was usually the first person that anyone coming into the office or calling the office would talk to. She was so ingrained into the community that it was typical if somebody else answered the phone, there was always a concern for where Clara might be. Typically, individuals would also wait and either call back or sometimes return to the office the following day so that they could talk to her directly. Her years of experience provided her with immense knowledge that she was always excited to share with providers, contractors, installers, and the general public. Additionally, Clara was the first recipient of our J.P. Lewis Award of Excellence back in 2019. This award, for those of you who don't know, recognizes a health department employee who's made outstanding contributions to the health department by championing and leading changes to increase the well-being of the health department workforce, clients, and/or the greater Topeka and Shawnee County community. The honor of receiving this award is a testament to the work that Clara did each and every day at the health department. We appreciate Clara's 23 years of dedicated service to Shawnee County. Not only will she be greatly missed by the health department team, but all of the other departments at the North Annex too. Her institutional knowledge regarding both environmental health and child care licensing in Shawnee County will be impossible to replace, but we wish you nothing but the best of luck in your next endeavors. Congratulations on your retirement, Clara.
We will continue with additional retirements, as the fourth quarter was very ripe with retirements. Brian, if you come up.
Thank you. I don't know if John's here. I want to start with John Grimshaw. 21 years of custodian in our business, that's pretty unheard of. I think in my career, I know of maybe 2 or 3 others. John worked as custodian, and I kind of liken what Kurt said. Okay, he's a custodian. He cleans up after everybody. And I want to remind everybody that the jail has 3 main facilities, takes over a quarter block of a town and section, over 9,000 bookings a year, 270 staff, and an average daily population of 500 inmates to clean up after. Not just going around, but this is an assigned area to make sure the trash is out, hazardous waste is out, and then let me go ahead and throw in a pandemic when we had strict rules when it came to cleanliness. And when agencies talked about 60, 70, 80% of COVID infection or deaths, Shawnee County had a rate of about 7% COVID infection. To us, our support staff are just as important as any security staff in the agency. When we have an audit, NCCHC, National Commission on Correctional Healthcare, American Corrections Association audits, you name it, they come through. The first thing they recognize is the cleanliness, the sanitation, and the hygiene of the facility. And that's a direct result of the commitment that John Grimshaw had. John was very dedicated, very loyal, very big about his health. He often challenged a lot of security staff to chin-up contests and won at times. But John is a true example of a commitment and disregard the status of custodian. He was a member of Shawnee County. This guy put it on the line. He did everything to help us, and I'm very thankful. We should be very thankful for John Grimshaw and the job that he did. So please, thank you. Eric? Eric and I have grown up at the Department of Corrections. Eric started 28 years ago as a CS, corrections specialist, worked his way up, worked in special services and booking, classification, and then worked in our transport unit. If anybody knows, when you work off duty, off site, it's just you. You have to work closely with our brothers and sisters of the Sheriff's Office and the Topeka Police Department, because you're one of the few armed people in the Department of Corrections, and you're out in the community, and that is a very vulnerable spot. But Eric did it. He's a leader among his peers. He made great relationships with the courts. When it came time to dealing with the scheduling of inmates and getting them there, great representation of in the community when it comes to building relationships with off-site medical, taking inmates. Then Eric decided to transfer over to community corrections and was one of our ISOs. That's a tough job. You're not an armed person when you're going out in the field, walking up to a person on or a client at their home who might be under the influence. Now, Eric is an athlete and he played football, so Eric didn't have too many problems with that. But Eric, I can just sum up one word, and that's leader. Eric had my back always. He cared about the people he worked with. He was a leader among his peers, whether at the detention center or whether he was in the community corrections office. He built tremendous relationships to help forward our agency to going to the next level. When I talk about Eric, I talk about leader, a compassion for his family. His family means everything to him, and I have the honor to work with his wife and his daughter who outran me in a race, and his son who's now at KU. But Eric, thank you for your years. Thank you, even though you had a second job working, you were on time, always. You always prioritized your staff, the community, your clients, and you were loyal and you were dedicated. We went through tough times in detention with staffing. You could have quit on me and you didn't. And so I want to say, brother, I love you. I thank you for everything. I thank you, Angela, for sharing him with us. And Shawnee County is losing a lot. We lost a lot with John and all those retired. We're losing a lot, especially at Department of Corrections community. Eric, thank you.
Commissioners, that concludes our recognition ceremony of our anniversaries and our retirements for the fourth quarter 2024. I do want to take a moment on behalf of Human Resources to appreciate all of our Shawnee County employees. You know, Shawnee County employees exist here to serve the people of Shawnee County. We do a very good job of doing so. So thanks to all Shawnee County employees. There will be cookies sponsored by the Department of Corrections. Thank you, Brian Cole. And refreshments in the vestibule. So.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. This is always a lot of fun, as I said earlier. It's always really great to see some of these faces that we typically don't get to see, and learn a little bit more about, you know, the way that our employees have impacted our citizens in a positive way. And so I appreciate everybody being here today. Even the ones that were not here, we appreciate their years of service just as much.
I concur with all of those statements, and thank you everybody for being here and celebrating with Shawnee County and our employees.
Thanks again. Thanks for the dedication, your time, commitment. Thank you.
And I want to apologize to Stephanie for not using the microphones. I was told before that we needed to do that, and we didn't. So, all right. With no other business today, so we're adjourned.